The vast hall of the Galactic Confederation sparkled with lights from 1,000 worlds. Tay stood quietly among the human delegation, his wooden bow feeling strangely out of place among the sleek technology surrounding them. Today marked Earth's first major diplomatic function since joining the interstellar community 3 months ago. Aliens of every shape moved through the exhibition hall. Some floated on gravity disks, others crawled on multiple limbs, but all possessed technology far beyond Earth's reach. The human cultural display had drawn curious onlookers. Traditional clothing, musical instruments, and martial arts demonstrations. Ambassador Song, what is this section meant to represent? Asked a tall, reptilian figure. The universal translator conveyed his words perfectly, though his mouth moved differently. Combat Sports Commissioner Devok. Ambassador Song bowed slightly. This shows our traditional weapons and martial disciplines. May I present Master Tay Park, our archery champion? Tay stepped forward with a respectful bow, holding his family's ceremonial bow. 7 generations of Parks had learned the way of the bow before him. The wood felt warm in his hands despite the climate-controlled environment. Devok's scaled skin shimmered as he examined the bow. His species, the Nagrath, stood nearly 7 feet tall with reinforced exoskeletons and enhanced reflexes. They dominated the Confederation's military forces and combat sports, earning their nickname Galactic Killers through centuries of martial superiority. You fight with this? Devok's translator couldn't hide his amusement. Strings and sticks? Several. Nearby aliens turned to watch the exchange. Tay maintained a calm expression, though he felt his cheeks warm. This bow has been in my family for centuries, Tay explained. The discipline teaches focus, patience, and precision. Devok picked up, an arrow bending it slightly. Such primitive technology. No targeting systems, no neural links. He handed it back dismissively. This would not even pierce my outer scales. Ambassador Song laughed nervously. Each culture develops differently, Commissioner. We value our traditions while embracing new technologies. Traditions? Devok's laugh sounded like rocks sliding together. My species discarded such weapons when we emerged from our evolutionary infancy. Other Nagrath officials joined their leader, towering over the humans. Their scales clicked as they moved, examining the display with obvious mockery. Perhaps humans should remain in administrative positions, Devok continued. Leave combat to species better suited for it. Tay felt a familiar calm settle over him, the same feeling he experienced before releasing an arrow. Every weapon has its purpose, honored Devok, even ancient ones. The Nagrath commissioner turned fully toward Tay now. The room grew quieter as others sensed the tension. Bold words from a species barely capable of interstellar travel, Devok said. Our warriors train from birth with technology integrated into their nervous systems. Your string and stick would not even qualify for children's training. Tay remained still. Technology enhances skill, but cannot replace understanding. The commissioner's eyes narrowed, vertical pupils contracting to thin lines. The Galactic Combat Tournament begins in 60 cycles. I am defending champion for the 7th consecutive time. He gestured to the bow. I challenge any human to demonstrate this archery against real warriors. A murmur ran through the crowd. Ambassador Song stepped forward. Commissioner, the tournament is known for its lethality. Human physiology is inadequate, Devok interrupted. As I suspected. The silence hung heavy. Tay thought of his grandfather's words. The arrow knows the way when the archer knows himself. I accept your challenge, Tay said quietly. Ambassador Song grabbed his arm. Tay, no. The Nagrath have dominated the tournament for centuries. No newcomer species has ever survived their first competition. Then it's time for that to change, Tay replied. Devok's mouth curved into what might have been a smile. Brave but foolish. I will personally ensure your section in the competition is memorable. The commissioner turned to address the gathered crowd. Witness, Earth sends its champion with primitive weapons against the Confederation's finest warriors. The surrounding aliens buzzed with excitement and disbelief. As Davok walked away, Ambassador Song whispered urgently to Tay, "Do you understand what you've done? The tournament allows lethal force. The Nagrath are natural predators with centuries of combat experience." Tay watched the commissioner's retreating form. "Some lessons can only be taught through demonstration," he said quietly, fingers tracing the worn grip of his bow. That night, as Earth's delegation prepared to return to their quarters, Tay received official tournament registration documents. At the bottom, a personal note from Davok. "Training begins tomorrow. Bring your sticks and strings, human. You'll need more than those to survive." The sharp sound of arrows hitting targets filled the training facility Earth's government had reluctantly provided. Tay drew his bow back, eyes focused on the moving holographic target that simulated a Nagrath warrior's movements. He released, the arrow striking precisely where the projection's armor joint would be. "Again," said Master Han, his old teacher who had insisted on joining Tay's preparation team. The 70-year-old man watched with critical eyes as Tay repeated the shot 20 more times, each arrow landing within millimeters of the first. "The Nagrath move faster than your projections," Dr. Kim said, adjusting settings on the training room's computer. She had been assigned as Tay's physiologist, though her skepticism about his chances was obvious. "Their reflexes are 3 times faster than human standard." The hologram's speed increased dramatically. Tay missed the next shot completely. "This is the reality you'll face," Dr. Kim continued. "Their outer plating can withstand small arms fire. They see an infrared spectrum. Their hearing detects sounds humans can't perceive." Tay nodded, breathing deeply. "Show me again where their armor connects." Every creature has weak points. Days turned into weeks. Tay trained 18 hours daily, sleeping only when his body demanded it. The government had assembled a small team, mostly scientists who studied alien physiology, not combat trainers. No one believed he could win, but national pride demanded they support their champion. "Their exoskeleton has natural seams here, here, and here." Dr. Min pointed at the detailed model. "But hitting these points would require impossible precision under tournament conditions." Tay studied the diagrams carefully. "What about their neural enhancers? You mentioned they use technology integrated with their nervous systems." "Yes, most. Nagrath warriors have implants that boost reaction time and targeting," Dr. Kim explained. "It's partly why they dominate combat sports. Your natural human reflexes simply can't compete." Master Han, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. "Technology creates dependency. When you rely on machines to aim, you forget how to truly see." The scientists exchanged skeptical glances, but Tay understood. He had spent his childhood learning archery the traditional way. No sights, no mechanical releases, just instinct and practice. While other children played with virtual reality games, Tay had followed his grandfather into the mountains to hunt. That night, alone in his quarters, Tay watched recordings of previous tournaments. The violence was disturbing. Competitors from various worlds fighting with weapons ranging from energy blades to sonic disruptors. The Nagrath always won, their movements almost too fast to follow. One recording showed Davok in his championship match moving with impossible speed as he took down 3 opponents simultaneously. But Tay noticed something, a pattern in the Nagrath's movements, a fraction of delay after his neural enhancer activated. It was slight, almost imperceptible, but to Tay's trained eye, it revealed a window of vulnerability. The next morning, Tay requested special materials for his arrows. "These specifications are unusual," said the weapons technician. "Wooden shafts with reinforced cores? Most competitors use fully synthetic materials or energy projectiles." "I need them to feel right," Tay explained simply. As the tournament approached, Tay's training intensified. He practiced shooting under extreme conditions, in vacuum chambers that altered air resistance, in variable gravity fields, in complete darkness. His body ached constantly, muscles pushed, beyond normal human limits. One evening, Ambassador Song visited the training facility. She watched silently as Tay hit targets while balancing on an unstable platform. Why did you accept this challenge? She finally asked. The odds. My grandfather raised me after my parents died in the first contact conflicts, Tay said, not pausing his practice. He taught me that the bow is more than a weapon. It's a connection between heart, hand, and target. When everything else in my life felt uncertain, archery gave me purpose. Ambassador Song sighed. Noble sentiments won't stop Davok from killing you. Tay finally lowered his bow and faced her. Maybe not. But I watched the recordings. The Nagrath rely too heavily on technology. They've forgotten what it means to truly
aim, to feel the shot before taking it. And you think that's enough of an advantage? She asked skeptically. Tay picked up one of his new arrows, traditional wooden shaft with advanced materials hidden inside.
I think they underestimate what humans can do. That's always been our advantage throughout history. People underestimate us. The night before departure for the tournament station, Master Han found Tay meditating in the training room, his bow across his knees. Are you afraid? The old man asked. Yes, Tay admitted. But fear makes the hand steady if you acknowledge it. Master Han nodded approvingly. Your grandfather would be proud. Remember what he always said? The target is not what you aim at. Tay finished. The target is what you see beyond the aim. As dawn broke, Tay packed his bow and the 20 special arrows that represented Earth's best hope in the Galactic Combat Tournament. The transport ship docked at Celestial Arena Station with a soft mechanical hiss. Tay felt the artificial gravity adjust as he stepped into the arrival bay. The massive structure orbited a neutron star, its reinforced windows offering breathtaking views of space that Tay had no time to admire. His focus remained on the tournament that would begin in less than a day. Welcome to Celestial Arena, Earth Representative, announced an automated voice. Please proceed to registration. The station bustled with activity. Beings from dozens of worlds moved through the wide corridors, some walking on multiple legs, others floating on personal gravity platforms. Many wore the distinctive insignia of tournament competitors. Tay noticed how they all gave him curious glances as he walked past with his wooden bow case. At registration, a blue-skinned attendant with 4 arms processed his credentials. Human competitor Tay Park, she said, her translator converting, her clicking language to English. Weapon classification, projectile, non-energy, primitive. She looked up with large, compound eyes. Is this correct? Yes, Tay replied simply. Unusual, she commented, completing his registration. Quarters, assignment, level 7, section 12. Preliminary rounds begin at station dawn cycle. As Tay collected his competitor badge, a shadow fell across the counter. He turned to find 3 Nagrath warriors standing behind him, led by the unmistakable figure of Davok. Up close, the champion was even more imposing than Tay remembered, nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent scales that shifted colors under the station lights. The human arrives with his sticks, Davok announced loudly, drawing attention from nearby competitors. I was concerned you might reconsider our challenge. Tay bowed slightly. I keep my word, Commissioner Davok. The Nagrath champion circled Tay slowly, examining his simple travel clothes and the wooden bow case. Your species has barely achieved interstellar travel. Our ancestors abandoned such weapons when we left our caves. Several onlookers laughed. Tay remained silent, maintaining a calm expression despite feeling hundreds of alien eyes on him. You're in the Alpha Preliminary Group, Davok continued. I arranged it personally, the most difficult bracket. He leaned closer, his reptilian face inches from Tay's. I want to ensure your elimination is educational for your species. With that, the Nagrath warriors turned and walked away, their scales clicking with each step. The station's artificial night cycle had begun by the time Tay found his quarters, a small but functional room with accommodations adapted for human physiology. He had just finished unpacking when his door chimed. Enter, he called cautiously. The door slid open to reveal a small, blue-skinned being barely 4 feet tall. Unlike the registration attendant, this alien had only 2 arms and moved with a peculiar floating gait. I am Lim, she introduced herself with a slight bow. Third cycle competitor from Azura Prime. Tay returned the bow. Tay Park of Earth. First cycle. I know who you are, Lim said, entering the room. Everyone does. The human with the wooden weapon who challenged Davok. Her large eyes studied him with unconcealed curiosity. My people were like yours once, physically unimpressive by Confederation standards. We were mocked when we first joined the galactic community. Yet you compete? Tay asked. Lim smiled, revealing teeth that appeared to be made of some crystalline substance. Intelligence finds ways where strength fails, may I? She gestured to his bow case. After a moment's hesitation, Tay opened the case and presented his bow. Lim examined it without touching, her eyes seeming to analyze its construction. Fascinating, she whispered. Genuine organic material. Handcrafted. She looked up at Tay. You should know the Nagrath aren't just physically imposing. They use neural enhancers, technology integrated with their nervous systems that gives them reflexes beyond biological limits. That explains their speed in the recordings, Tay said. Lim nodded. But such enhancements have limitations. They rely on their technology so completely they've forgotten natural skill. Their neural networks are predictable to those who know what to look for. Why tell me this? Tay asked. The Nagrath have dominated too long, Lim replied. They believe technological superiority equals evolutionary superiority. Some of us would welcome a different perspective. Before Tay could respond, the station's announcement system activated. All competitors' preliminary round assignments are now available. First matches begin in 6 station hours. Lim moved toward the door. The viewing arena adjusts atmospheric conditions randomly. Most competitors rely on their equipment to compensate. She paused. Those who depend on natural senses might have an advantage during certain fluctuations. After she left, Tay checked his tournament schedule. His first match would pit him against a HFY warrior, an insectoid species known for lightning-fast movements. He spent the remaining hours studying opponent files and meditating, preparing his mind for what would come. When the call for preliminary competitors sounded, Tay walked to the arena with his bow in hand and 20 arrows in his quiver. As he entered the competitor's staging area, conversation stopped. Dozens of alien warriors stared at the human with the wooden weapon. A tournament official approached. Competitor Park, your position is ready. Remember, preliminary rounds are non-lethal, but injury is permitted. The official hesitated. The medical team has been briefed on human physiology. Tay nodded and stepped onto the platform that would raise him into the arena. Above, he could hear the roar of thousands of spectators. First human competitor in 50 years, he heard someone say. Won't last 5 minutes against a HFY. The platform began to rise. The arena erupted with sound as Tay rose into view. Thousands of spectators from across the galaxy filled the massive circular stadium. Overhead, atmospheric barriers shimmered, creating different environmental zones within the competition space. From Earth, competitor Tay Park, the announcer's voice boomed. Using traditional projectile weapon in his first tournament cycle, a mixture of curious murmurs and dismissive laughter rippled through the crowd. Across the arena, Tay's opponent emerged, a HFY warrior with 4 arms and an exoskeleton that gleamed under the lights. The insectoid alien carried energy darts, in each hand its compound eyes fixed on Tay. Begin, called the official, and a force field rose around the competition area. The HFY moved with blinding speed, firing a barrage of energy darts that sizzled through the air. Tay rolled to the side, barely avoiding the first volley. He knocked an arrow but had no time to aim before diving again, as more darts streaked toward him. The human displays expected evasion skills, the announcer commented. Though offensive capability appears limited, the HFY chittered what might have been laughter, darting from side to side too quickly for most eyes to follow. Tay remained calm, watching the pattern of movement. He recalled information from his briefing. HFY warriors couldn't change direction mid-leap due to their exoskeleton's rigidity. When the HFY jumped again, Tay fired not at where his opponent was, but where he would land. The arrow struck perfectly at the joint between leg segments, causing the alien to stumble for just a moment. Before the Hectory could recover, Tay had already fired 2 more arrows that hit pressure points on the warrior's body. The insectoid collapsed, immobilized but unharmed. Silence fell over the arena, then scattered applause. Match concluded, the announcer stated, surprise evident in the voice. Earth competitor advances. Tay won his next 3 matches with similar strategies, observing patterns, finding weaknesses, and striking with precision rather than power. By his 4th victory, spectators had begun cheering for the human with the wooden bow. Unexpected developments in Group Alpha, the station broadcast announced that evening. Human competitor Park advances to the quarterfinals, the first Earth representative to progress this far in 50 years. In his quarters, Tay tended to his injuries, bruises and minor burns from close encounters. A medical technician had offered regeneration treatment, but Tay declined, preferring natural recovery to maintain his focus. Lim visited again, bringing information about his next opponent, a Krell fighter who used sonic weapons that disrupted neural functions. The Nagrath are taking notice, she told him. Davok watched your last match personally. The quarterfinal proved more challenging. The Krell fighter's sonic blasts distorted Tai's vision and balance. Halfway through the match, blood trickled from Tay's ears as the sonic attacks intensified. He struggled to knock arrows with trembling hands. The turning point came when atmospheric controllers triggered a dense fog condition in the arena. The Krell's targeting system faltered in the low visibility, but Tay, trained to shoot by feel rather than sight, fired 3 perfect shots that disabled his opponent's sonic emitters. Human competitor advances to semifinals, the announcer declared as medics rushed to treat Tay's injuries. Back in medical, Dr. Kim arrived from Earth with urgent concerns. Your inner ear suffered damage, she scolded while running a regenerator over his injuries. Neural scans show stress patterns consistent with sonic trauma. Will I be cleared for the semifinal? Tay asked. Dr. Kim frowned. Technically, yes. But your next opponent is Vex of the Bektari, Tay finished. 4 arms, quadruple joint mobility and multi-targeting capability. You've studied, Dr. Kim noted with surprise. I've been watching all the matches, Tay explained. The Bektari rely on cybernetic targeting arrays linked to their optic nerves. They can track multiple targets simultaneously but process information sequentially. The semi-final match drew the largest audience yet. Vex entered the arena to thunderous applause, her 4 arms each wielding a different weapon. When Tay appeared with his simple bow, Vex performed an elaborate gesture that her translator conveyed as, I honor your journey's end, human. The match began with Vex firing all 4 weapons in coordinated patterns that seemed impossible to evade. Tay was hit twice in the first minute, energy blasts searing his shoulder and leg. The crowd roared as he stumbled. Then the atmospheric controllers activated the solar flare simulation, intense radiation that interfered with electronic systems. Vex's targeting arrays flickered momentarily. In that split second, Tay saw his opportunity and fired. His arrow struck precisely where Vex's neural implant connected to her central nervous system. Not enough to cause permanent damage, but sufficient to disrupt her targeting coordination. Before she could recover, Tay fired 3 more arrows in rapid succession, each striking pressure points that temporarily paralyzed her weapon's arms. Incredible precision from the human, the announcer exclaimed as Vex signaled her surrender. As Tay was declared the winner, he noticed Davok watching from a private viewing box, the Nagrath champion's expression unreadable. But for the first time, there was no mockery in those reptilian eyes, only calculation. That night, tournament officials announced the final match, Tay Park of Earth versus 7-time champion Davok of Nagrath. The final day of the tournament arrived with unprecedented excitement. The station's corridors buzzed with discussions of the unlikely human finalist. Betting exchanges gave Tay almost no chance of victory, but many spectators now openly supported the underdog who had defied all expectations. Tay spent the morning in meditation, his bow across his knees. His body still ached from previous matches, with regeneration treatments only partially healing his injuries. Dr. Kim had argued against his participation, citing medical scans that showed stress fractures and muscle damage beyond safe limits. This isn't just about winning anymore, Tay had told her. It's about showing what humans can accomplish. The final match arena was different, a massive circular field with multiple environmental zones. Desert terrain transitioned to forest sections, anti-gravity wells and atmospheric barriers. Holographic displays showed the championship rules. Victory required either opponent submission or hitting 5 designated targets scattered throughout the arena. As preparation time ended, Master Han visited Tai in the ready room. "I've studied." "Davok's previous finals," the old teacher said. "He toys with opponents, extends matches for spectacle." Tai nodded. "He wants to humiliate me, not just defeat me." Master Han placed a hand on Tai's shoulder. "Remember what makes human archery special. Not technology, not strength, but the connection between archer, bow, and target." When Tai entered the arena, the crowd erupted. Many aliens waved Earth symbols, a surprising show of support that momentarily caught him off guard. Across the field, Davok emerged in ceremonial battle armor that shimmered with integrated technology. The Nagrath champion carried an advanced compound bow that hummed with energy, a clear mockery of Tai's traditional weapon. The final match of the 527th Galactic Combat Tournament announced the Grand Arbiter from his elevated platform. Champion, Davok of Nagrath versus Challenger Taypark of Earth. Davok performed the traditional competitor's salute, then spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. "I chose a bow for this match to honor your primitive weapon, human. After today, your species will understand its true place in the Confederation." Tay simply bowed in response, then checked his quiver. 20 arrows, all he had for this final challenge. "Begin," the Arbiter commanded, and the protective barriers rose. Davok disappeared immediately, his armor's camouflage system blending perfectly with the environment. Tay moved cautiously into the forest section, listening intently. The artificial wind carried sounds in unpredictable patterns, but Tay had spent years hunting in Earth's mountains, tracking prey by the slightest disturbances in natural harmony. A whisper of movement from above was his only warning. Tay rolled sideways as an energy arrow exploded where he had stood, leaving a smoking crater. 2 more shots followed rapidly, driving him toward the desert zone. "First blood to Davok," the announcer called as one energy arrow grazed Tay's arm, burning through his protective gear. The crowd roared as Davok appeared briefly on a rocky outcropping, his scaled form gleaming in the artificial sunlight before vanishing again. Tay remained calm, observing how the environment itself reacted to Davok's movements, how leaves trembled, how dust settled, how light refracted off his camouflage system. When Tay finally released his first arrow, it seemed to fly wide of any target. Spectators murmured in confusion until the arrow curved with the artificial air currents, ricocheted off a polarized surface, and struck one of the 5 victory targets. "Target 1 registered to Earth competitor," the announcer exclaimed in shock. Davok emerged from concealment, his reptilian features showing surprise. "Fortunate accident, human." "Not accident. Understanding," Tay replied, already knocking another arrow. The Nagrath champion fired a rapid series of shots that forced Tay into the anti-gravity zone. Here, movement became unpredictable, objects floating in changing patterns. Tay struggled to maintain position while Davok, with his technologically enhanced balance systems, moved effortlessly through the shifting gravity fields. An energy arrow struck Tay's leg, sending him spinning helplessly. The crowd gasped as another hit his shoulder. Blood floated in small droplets around him as he tumbled through the anti-gravity field. "The human displays admirable resilience," the announcer commented, "but Champion Davok clearly dominates this environment." With great effort, Tay stabilized himself against a floating platform. His vision blurred from pain, but his hands remained steady as he drew back his bow. He didn't aim directly at Davok or even at a target. Instead, he fired at what appeared to be empty space. The arrow traveled through 3 different atmospheric zones, its trajectory adjusting to each change in pressure and gravity before striking. Another victory target. "Impossible," Davok roared, firing frantically at Tay. But the human had already calculated his next shot, using the station's rotation and environmental systems as part of his targeting. His third arrow disabled Devok's neural enhancer with pinpoint accuracy, striking where armor plates joined at the Nagrath's neck. Suddenly deprived of his technological advantages, Devok's movements became less fluid. The final 2 targets fell, to Tay's arrows in quick succession, each shot demonstrating mastery of the arena's complex physics that no targeting computer could match. Final target confirmed. Earth competitor Tay Park is tournament champion, the arbiter announced as the crowd erupted in thunderous applause. Devok stood motionless in the center of the arena, his advanced bow hanging limply at his side as Tay approached and offered the traditional victor's salute. How? The Nagrath warrior asked simply. Your technology told you where to aim, Tay explained, but my tradition taught me how to see.